Okay, we're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Polkadot broadcast. This is our monthly roundup, where we take the time to discuss some of the hottest topics from the past months. And our focus isn't limited to the Polkadot ecosystem. We also explore broader trends in Web3. The market hasn't been doing particularly well this past few days. And but I believe that it's precisely during these times, during times like this, that we start to reflect on what truly matters and what just the short-term noises. So for this episode, our main topic will be security. Sometimes that we simply cannot afford to ignore. And we will also talk about Gavin's ongoing JAM tour in China and how he's promoting JAM's adoption. Additionally, we will discuss strategies to attract new users in the coming months. Join us today are some familiar faces and good friends of Polkadot. So we're looking forward to a relaxed and insightful conversation. But first, let's have our guests introduce themselves. How about start from Pac-Man?
Hi guys, everybody knows me as Pac-Man. I'm the co-founder of Kylix Finance. We're building DeFi protocol on Polkadot. I'm very excited to be here. Thanks, Christian, for hosting this. And looking forward to the conversation.
Okay, welcome, Pac-Man. Now, next, let's welcome Philip.
Filippo. Hi guys, I'm Filippo and I'm a technical educator at the Web3 Foundation. The foundation, behind the Polkadot ecosystem, Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem. And I mainly educate and spreading good vibes about Web3 and Polkadot. That's me, and I'm really happy to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, thanks.
I think that's what Polkadot needs, a lot of good vibes.
Yes, for sure. And next, let's welcome Richard.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me on, Christian. So I'm Richard Holdsworth. I'm the CTO and co-founder of Excavate, and we're tokenizing the whole life cycle of real estate, bringing it on chain from land registry right the way through to finished properties. So really excited to talk about what's happening in Polkadot and why we chose Polkadot to build on and the amazing things that it does and how secure it is.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, welcome to our broadcast. And I think the first part, because this is the monthly roundup, I think the first topic you guys can share, what's your main focus in this month? How about start from Pac-Man?
That's quite a big question because it's not just one focus. As you know, we're building Kylix Finance, so we're borrowing and lending like DeFi protocol on Polkadot. We actually own a little bit of piece of history because we won the last parachain to ever exist on Polkadot, and it was a very competitive chain as well. After that, it was just roll-up chain, so we're basically now focused on launching the project. We're going through like a lot of codes and audits and stuff, at the same time like seed round, fundraising rounds, so a bit of everything. It's just quite busy time of the year because I think most of the projects I know they're like pre-TG phase are planning to launch in April, May time. And I think we're about on the same timeline. We're actually on the time, so we're not running late or running behind our schedule. But looks good so far.
Okay, it's good to hear. So Philip, what's your main focus this month?
So basically, what we have done with the technical education team at the Web3 Foundation is like migrating all the documentation to the new website, polkadot.com, and working with collaborators to make this happen. And also personally, what I've been doing is reading the Rust book and taking the PBAX online, the course that launched. I think now is open for Wave 2 participants. So I really recommend to look it up, PBAX. A good opportunity to learn about Polkadot and Web3 and the Polkadot SDK. And I will be participating to the Polkadot Blockchain Academy on campus in Switzerland. And this will be, I prepared, and it will be at the end of March, beginning of April.
Yeah. Yeah, PBA is really a great place, and a very good project from Polkadot are initiated from a PBA, like Pacman, Calyx. You met your co-founder on the PBA, I think.
No, so PBA. So Gianluigi is actually a PBX graduate, and I was not in PBA, but I joined the PBX, like Filippo mentioned. But I'm yet to finish it all. Life gets so busy, and you have to actually complete all these lessons and stuff. So I'm still finishing my PBX. But yeah, Gianluigi has he's graduated from from PBA, and this is a great place to learn all things about Polkadot programming, and it gives you a great head start.
Yeah, it's cool that and PBA drop off and PBA graduate created a fantastic project. So so Richard, I think you got a very busy month as well. So what is your focus in the past months?
Yeah, I mean, if you just say one thing or hold me to one thing, then I would say regulation. We've been working with the regulators in the UK for about a year, and we've got to a point now where they're comfortable with what we're doing. They're satisfied that we are able to operate within their regulations. So we just need to submit one permission, which is arranging deals. So basically, we've created this decentralized marketplace, bringing real estate developers and investors together in a decentralized way. But the regulators still need us to be regulated, as in we're managing the risks associated with bringing these together. It's called arranging deals. So that's our one thing. But as you say, it's a busy month, lots of other things happening. But we can go into that a little bit later.
Yes, it's quite a month. Okay, and we every guest have their own focus, but I think everyone get attention by the Bybit hack. It's a most it's the top hack in the crypto history. So so I recommend that let's start with security. Have any of you personally encountered security incidents, or how do you ensure the safety of your assets? Do you have any tips to share? It's very sensitive topic.
Filippo is an educator in this field. Let's start with Filippo. I think he will be the best person to give advice on this.
Yeah, that's welcome, Philip.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, I would say that it depends from the use case. I mean, of course, like in crypto, you have hot wallets that are always connected to the internet. They are created on mobile devices or on your computer, which means that the secret information, the private key of your wallet is stored in the device. And if the device is always connected to the internet, it means that it's potentially available to any hacker to get it, right? And then you have hardware wallets, like the most famous is Ledger. It's an offline device, which means that the wallet is created on the offline device. And what it does, this device is basically just signs transaction. So basically, you're signing on the small ledger, and then the signature is sent to the application that you're using, essentially. And this is the most secure way of interacting with a blockchain. It always depends, in my opinion, from how many funds, how much stuff you have on your wallet. I would say that if you have considerably a lot amount of funding, which is very subjective, of course, I would recommend you to use a ledger. Of course, the ledger is not really how to say, like, convenient, because you always need the ledger device to sign. So, for example, if you're traveling, if you're going around, you need always to have the device with you. Of course, there are like some some options in the Polkadot ecosystem that are called proxies. So you can have, I don't want to go too much into details, but basically you can sign with this proxy account for just specific things. For example, for staking. So the idea here is that the cold storage solution, the hardware wallet, is what I would recommend. It's a more secure way. But of course, it's created initially. You need to, write down this seed phrase, this mnemonic seed phrase, this famous sequence of words, 12 or 24, and this is it. You have to keep it safe. You don't have to take a screenshot. You don't have to do anything that can be related to online stuff. You cannot save it on your phone. You always have to write it down on a piece of paper and basically store it somewhere safe. So this is, I think, it's the weak link of having a crypto wallet right now.
What about Bybit was I think it is their ledger that get hacked.
Yes, exactly. This is a very sophisticated attack, which means that they were the signers. At first, it was a multi-signature account. Those funds that has so much funds, right? 1.5 billion or 1.5, I think, right? 1.5 billion dollars. At the time of the attack. Now it's less. But of course, it was very sophisticated because the signers were tricked to sign something to sign X, but Y got executed. So they got tricked to sign something, but in reality, something else got executed on chain. So this is something that happens if you are not able to verify the transaction information. And this is something that Polkadot has been pioneering, especially last year with the launch of the new Polkadot app. The Polkadot Ledger app, the way it works is that it also verifies metadata. Metadata is basically the information that is used to translate, what you are signing in kind of human readable things. If some of you maybe are familiar with Uniswap in Ethereum, when you are swapping stuff, you have to allow blind signing. There is a big exclamation mark with written basically, hey, we are not showing you what you're signing, but just trust us, it's fine, So it's a really incredible, I would say very inconvenient, because of course you have to trust that what you're signing is the truth. But blockchain, what we want to achieve, especially in the Polkadot ecosystem, is to have a trustless way of doing things. And I really admire the huge work that has been done by especially Zondax, which is the company that is behind the Polkadot Ledger app, in making sure that the new Polkadot Ledger app verifies this metadata. It verifies that what you're signing is the correct thing, and if it's not executed on Polkadot, it means that you will never, nothing will never be approved. How to say in English, that nothing will be nothing that you. Oh my God, sorry. It's so basically, if you approve something and something is trying to trick you, and something else is on the other hand to be executed, this will be rejected, basically, right? So you can still have the problem of the Bybit attack, that you can still have a ledger device that is secure. I mean, that it's your ledger device, but you can still get tricked, right?
Yeah.
So this is the thing that the new Polkadot Ledger app is trying to avoid, with the verification process of this metadata that is used to show. So the new Ledger app is not only about blind signing. It's not only against blind signing, which means that you will always be able to read what you're signing in some human readable thing. It's still a little bit early on, which means that a lot of stuff that you will see on the Ledger device still will not make sense to most of the users. But the next iteration of it will try to make it even more easy to understand for the mass, right? The masses. But on top of this is also verifying verifying the metadata.
Yeah, it's great. It's
I
great.
hope it was not too. I'm trying to be not too difficult here, but yeah, I think Polkadot did really a good job in providing this new application for Ledger that, by the way, it works on any chain, on any rollup on Polkadot. So if you want to send tokens to a DEX, you can send it, you can swap, you can do everything with one single app, which is what was not the case a while ago, because of course Polkadot has different chains that have different how to say, like, different logic, and this adds a layer of complexity.
Yeah, it's cool that Polkadot have a better solution for every users. Okay, so Pac-Man, would you like to tell your story? Did you ever encounter some wallet hack or something? Do you have any?
I don't think I can match Filippo's standard of description, but I'll try. So I've not personally had an issue with any securities myself, because I'm very careful with my seed phrase and things like that. But what happened with this exchange hack, it shows you, like, if a big exchange like that can be manipulated and hacked, then a normal user has no chance. So you have to be, like, super careful about not just your seed phrase, but, like, signing transactions and things. And the problem is the security level is still there, but the scammers are getting smarter and smarter every day. They're coming up with different ways. I mean, we still have the same level of security in MetaMask that we had, let's say, last year. I mean, there's not much been changed, but in terms of scammers, they are getting more and more clever. So you have to be very careful. I think the only advice I would give to somebody is, like, make sure that if you're not expecting a transaction to sign, just don't sign anything. And if you are signing something, make sure that you understand what it means and what can be the consequences of it. A lot of times, people would offer to help you, like, let's say in Discord channels and Telegram, and like they basically target vulnerable users, where they're kind of looking for people that would be gullible enough to, like, fall for these scams. So just make sure you don't trust people you don't know, and you don't sign transactions that you're not kind of that you don't know where they're coming from. But I'll be interested to see what Richard says about, because Richard has actually more of a tech background, so he'll have a better kind of overview.
Yeah, it's great to hear that you never encountered these cases. Good for you. So Richard, you are managing so much different assets. The tokens and the real asset tokens. Did you ever personally encounter some?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as fortunate as the other guys. I've had a couple of incidents, some more recent than others, but I mean, we've as a project, we have got a security advisor on our team, and he's invaluable, because what he's saying is there's only really 3 areas of attack. Either humans, obviously people in your team, you try and send them the links and then create vulnerabilities that way. Infrastructure, obviously, from a technical perspective, if you've got a vector of attack there, it can be exploited. And then obviously software development. So if you've got a bug in your system, then someone could exploit that. Luckily, not had any issues on the infrastructure or the development side, but I had a personal incident where a while ago I had a problem with a wallet, went onto the wallet provider's Discord, raised the issue on Discord channel, and someone replied with a link, get into conversation, and then realized that when they were asking for my seed phrase, it was clearly a scam. But it's, I appreciate that a lot of people that have been in the industry for a long time would say, oh, it's an obvious scam. But when you're busy, when you're in a moment, when you're rushing to try and get something resolved, it's very easy to fall into this trap. So don't feel like you're an idiot, because everyone does it. It's just, at what point do you say to yourself, right, this is not right. So if you're ever asked for your seed phrase, it has got to be a scam. There's no way you should reveal that. And then the other thing was, I actually had someone approach me to be a member of my team, and I set them some initial tasks. They came through LinkedIn, had several connections there, people I knew. They did a week's worth of work, and then I actually got them on a call. It looked a bit sus, so I asked them to stand up, and then suddenly the screen went blank. They deleted their profile, and clearly they were a scammer. But yeah, they were using AI to manipulate a video stream. So it's quite a scary place at the moment. There's lots of scams out there. Just be careful, be vigilant, and just try and keep your. I think if you have a lot of standard operating procedures, we've revised our operating procedures and our onboarding processes based on the risks that have become apparent. But it's very easy, especially if you're quite a small team or you're just a person on their own. Just be careful.
Yeah, we should be careful. Really, I once I was got hacked before. I just click on a link, and it turns out to be a like phishing site, and the hacker lurked for a month before transforming my money away. It's I think we should be very careful, but I think it's still important to spread assets across different wallets and platforms. So
yeah, there are some tools to use as well. Like there's Shamir Secret, where you can split your seed phrase over a number of different contacts. So you could potentially have 5 contacts and maybe set 3 of 5 as being your threshold. And then if you have any of those 3 out of the 5, you can recreate your seed phrase. So that was a really good way of doing it if you're a little bit more technical. But yeah, I think it's just a question of being alert to the idea that everyone's out to scam you.
yeah.
The thing. Sorry, maybe I can add something here because you can spread assets to different wallets. I don't think this is really like make it necessarily more secure. I would say that you have to develop a behavior of good practice. I think behavior when you are navigating the internet, especially in Web3 and finance, right? For example, and this depends also. I think it depends a lot by how paranoid you are. So there are people that are crazy. I mean, depending on how much you want to be as secure as possible. There are even people that have different computer. One computer they use it only for crypto stuff, for example. Then of course you don't have to click on any links on any spam email. You don't have to you always have to make sure that you go to trusted sources. You don't sign stuff that you don't understand. For example, I take the example of Uniswap. I mean, of course, Uniswap is a very trusted source, but there might be websites that are fake. They look like Uniswap, but they are not. So you always have to be careful about the URL that you're using and not be tricked by the UI, because this is what actually happened with the Bybit hack, right? So it's maybe it looks really familiar, it looks exactly the same. You don't even check, and then it's basically a whole attempt of hacking you. So I think most of the work is around developing good practices. Is already, I think, 80% of your security in the internet. You can even have a hot wallet, I think, if you have really good practices. Of course, the cold wallet adds a highly additional layer. It makes you way more secure. Your seed phrase is not on your computer. Whatever happens, even if they steal your computer or you steal your phone, there is no way that people will be able to see your balance, maybe, or stuff, what you have, but they will never be able to extract your funds, right?
It's really good advice, actually, Philip. Just to add to that, I saw a really funny video where Mr. Beast, I don't know if you know Mr. Beast, but he's a big YouTuber. He had his laptop stolen, and he had his Bitcoin seed phrase on his laptop, actually for everyone to see, and they never stole it. I think there was $1.7 million worth of Bitcoin. So yeah, even a dumb thief sometimes doesn't understand what they've got. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, like as you said, Richard, I think like the biggest advice, I think even the first one that you should give, and I didn't give it, my bad, is as you said, like never ever give your seed phrase. Whoever is asking for your seed phrase is a scammer. So please never ever share it. I wouldn't share it even with with very close people, unless there is a lawyer or it's like inheritance kind of thing. And then, to take it really seriously, because you never know, even people very close to you might behave in one way, and then maybe in 2 years they behave in another way, and you gave away this secret, and then you have to maybe change all the wallets because you don't, it's a big, can be a big work.
You can give it to me, Filippo. I'll keep it safe for you.
Yeah, but
that's a good example. Like, don't even share it with your friends.
It's a trustless world. It's a trustless world. You have to keep it trustless in whatever you do. And you should have as less as possible single point of failure, especially when you are managing this kind of assets. That is non-custodial.
I also think that we're in a stage now of development where there's loads of good projects coming through, like Interstellar, which is building on Polkadot. They're abstracting away the need for a seed phrase and sort of making your mobile phone a cold wallet using something called there's some I can't remember the name of it now. It's a circuit. It's a garbled circuit, which is quite complex and very, very technical, but basically it uses the way human eyesight and brain deciphers information and builds up layered passcode, and then you key in a different passcode each time into your device. It's really cool stuff. So I think there's lots of things happening to try and abstract away the complexity of Web3. But I think common sense, never give your seed phrase, is probably the first place to start.
Yes, I think as a normal user, they have to learn a lot of stuff. For ordinary users, there's already a lot of, they don't understand. Just being able to grasp Web3 is a big step forward. And yet they still have to pay a safety price to keep their assets safe. I think that's going to make the barrier to enter into Web3 too high. So I still believe that projects, or protocols, they should embed these security measures into their protocol itself. And so I would invite three of our guests to share, what's your strategy to keep your, users on your protocol safe. How about we start from Richard, because you mentioned you have an advisor team to keep your protocol safe.
So what we've done is started with our team first. So just had many discussions about how we operate using different devices. I think Filippo mentioned, if you have a specific device just purely for your work and then one for your personal use, that minimizes the chance of a rogue link or something. Also, user access, if you've got a specific user access, if you've only got one device, then just create a couple of different user sign-ins. So at least you can, again, try and minimize the attack vector. And then it's about things like operating procedures, audits. So we've gone through the process of Blockdeep did a really good audit on the custom palettes in our code. And there are a few observations, but generally speaking, it was really well put together code. So I was really pleased with my team and proud of my team. So it's having a second set of eyes, and then just having the ability to talk to each other. So we have weekly meetings, and if anything gets flagged as being a potential problem or risk, we discuss it rather than just go off and do stuff. So I think it's having that environment where you feel comfortable that you can question something or make a mistake and not, everyone jumping on you. We just work together as a team to try and resolve these things. And then we're going to, as we build products and launch them, there'll be a process of full testing, and then sort of controlled testing in a live environment, and then full launch. So it's just good practices, really.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Cool. Yeah, it's a really good strategies. And next, Pac-Man, DEX are prime target for attacks. So what's the strategy for Calyx to protect users?
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. So I think to protect users, the main, focus should be on education to start with. And this is where, Philippe was doing a great work, educating people and community, because they need to understand the difference between somebody with malicious intent and somebody, and kind of a trustless kind of relationship with a protocol. So education would be the first thing to start with. And then we also have, let's say, like how Richard said, we also gain a audit done from BlockDeep, where we're making sure that our code is secure and safe. And I understand there's risks involved at DEXs, but I believe if you have the right kind of audit and right kind of code with you, I think you're quite solid. It's not something that that has to happen, but you can be quite immune to hacks and attacks if you've got the right auditing and the right team behind you. So we're very focused on that because building a DeFi protocol, this is where most of the money is usually, compared to like other protocols where the tokens and the money is not held on the protocol itself. So we understand the risks involved, and especially like when millions and billions of dollars involved, it makes you a very kind of attractive option for a hacker to hack you rather than a project like that doesn't have a lot of tokens on their platform. So we were very aware of that, and we're taking the security very seriously. We have multiple audits getting done as we speak, and we will have all these reports public and live before we go live, just to make sure community has some peace of mind.
Okay, cool. And Philip, the attack on Bybit was particularly complex and might be related to Ethereum account model or something. So among other factors, so what advantages does Polkadot have in this regard?
So I want also to reassure people that of course this hack happens most of the times to accounts that have high visibility. So it's very likely that for the normal crypto investor, unless it's like a widespread scam or phishing or something like that, these targeted highly sophisticated attacks, they happen to high high worth kind of accounts, accounts that have like a high visibility kind of, but that said, I think Polkadot of course has it's a very secure protocol. First, it's coded in Rust. Rust is a very memory safe, highly memory safe. Polkadot and the parachains and the rollups, they are coded with Rust, and Rust it's highly memory safe programming language. It means that it has a lot of compile checks. At compile time. So it's a very, 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 very safe language, and this is very good for blockchain applications. That said, it's important, like Richard and Pac-Man said, is having audits. It's very, very important to audit the code and make sure that it doesn't have flaws. Personally, I think auditing from different parties might enhance the security audit. There are also kind of hackathon programs where different entities are challenged, to basically hack the platform and find the vulnerabilities, and they are rewarded for it. And usually, there are different rewards for all the entities. And I think Hydration did something like this a while ago. I think the last audit was something like that, which is a DEX, by the way. So it's on Polkadot. and of course, like this is these are different people, different entities that they are trying to hack the system. It's highly probable that they have different point of views, different expertise, and it's very likely to catch different things, right? Instead of having maybe just one single entity. I mean, this is again like subjective opinion here from my side, but still interesting approach.
No, it's certainly something we've considered, and we've got an allocation of XCAV tokens for bug bounties. So I think it's nice to reward the community for helping find these things before a bad actor finds them and exploits them.
Yeah, I think if you go on the Hydration website, there is also like there is a link to the security audit GitHub repo, and then there is the last report is basically a report about this kind of security audit and you see all the different entities. It's very, very, very interesting. I think Polkadot itself, in terms of accounts, is also quite safe. I was talking about proxies before. And proxies are accounts that have limited privileges on another account, right? Maybe you have one main account, can be a ledger account with most of your funds, or different kind of, a very important account that you have, and then you attach a proxy, maybe a staking proxy, which means that has staking privileges, and you can only sign transactions related to staking. For example, you cannot move funds away from that account. You can maybe only increase the stake or decrease the stake. That's it. So this is kind of interesting because it allows you, for example, to leave your Ledger device in a safe location, and maybe you can travel around and you still have the proxy and you can manage your staking while you are on the go. And on that account, you just have a couple of dots, right? You don't have a lot of funds. So you have different, I think this is one kind of account abstraction natively on Polkadot that allows you to safely manage your, your funds. And of course, you have multi-signature accounts that are also safe and are used in corporate, they're used also the foundation where we are. At the foundation itself, we do have like training courses where we train employees about how to manage funds and how to safely use accounts. I think most of the work again is done by just building good practices. It takes time. It's kind of annoying at the start. I remember myself going through the whole process of cybersecurity good practices. At the beginning, it's a little bit annoying, but on the long term, it pays off. I think like it also puts you in a way of thinking about the internet as it really should be, right? Because the internet is it's a jungle. It's full of people, especially in Web3, that are trying to scam, they're trying to attack you from all over the corners, right? And it's very important to have really safe, good practices about this. And I think it's still heavily, it should be taught at school, I think, middle school already, like how do you browse, what you do with your computer. And it's still not done enough, in my opinion, because it's kind of a learning process, right? And the sooner you get it, the better.
Just on that note, one of my team, Connor, he's developed a number of modules to go into senior schools, and I think that's been a Treasury proposal that's gone through. So he's doing a pilot scheme. But I think, if your first foray into Web3 is buying Fartcoin and getting ripped off, you're never going to want to go back in and sort of go to a legitimate project. So it is a really important thing, and we want to try and protect early stage users because they're the ones most vulnerable. It might not always be the big projects and big treasury funds that are being attacked. It might just be a simple everyday user, but just lots of them. So I think we need to do as much as we can as an industry to help that. But on your point about multi-sigs, we use as a team Mimir, which is a really good multi-sig tool. So we found it to be really useful. And then you talked about proxies, Filippo. You can set a proxy. So if you create a multi-sig of 3 users and you don't set a proxy, those 3 users can't be changed. But if you set a proxy, then you can remove and add users onto that multi-sig. And if you set maybe, if you've got 5 users in the multi-sig and you set a parameter of so 3 out of the 5, you need all those 3 or any 3 users to sign off on that transaction before it's executed. So that is really good practice in my mind.
Yeah, cool. And thanks for sharing. It seems that being a competent Web3 users still relies on self-education and choosing protocols that are fundamentally more secure. So, and appreciate every one of our guests for prioritizing user education. Okay.
I think like it's not only about Web3. It's a more wider kind of thing nowadays. I mean, Web3 is very important because it has financial aspect on top of it. If something happens, you get your funds are stolen. But this has been a problem in many years on the internet, where identity, for example, is stolen, emails, and these kind of things, right? But people don't give the right importance to these things. They should. They don't. But now that there is like funds at stake, of course, it's a whole different thing, right? But I think this kind of thinking and building good practice is something that can be widely applied to the whole like digital world, not only Web3.
Okay. Oh, true. I agree with you. Okay, under the premise of security, let's talk about how to attract new users. Gavin is currently in China for JAM tour and promoting the adoption of JAM, and he just finished a section at the Peking University yesterday, and now is speaking at Fudan University in Shanghai. The current memes and because Gavin mentioned during his JAM tour, the balance between long-term thinking and short-term results. But the situation is that, the current memes attract users through the wealth creation effect. Under this situation, as a long-term oriented project, how should Polkadot attract users, and how do you think your project can attract more users? So let's start from Richard. Yeah.
Thank you, Christian. Well, yeah, from our short-term view on this is we are developing a marketplace for any kind of user, Web 2, Web 3, to invest in a particular property, in sort of real estate, which has traditionally been quite difficult to invest in without a large amount of capital or put all your risk into one property. So what we're trying to do is abstract that away, but do it in a decentralized way, so users can have control over the management and decisions over the property, which is not available in other platforms. So to do that, we're trying to make the user journey as simple as possible. So very, very Web 2 in terms of, or it's actually going to be utilizing a mobile device and a mobile application. But, it's the abstraction of the Web 3 needs to be high on our priority list, because we know Web 3 in general suffers from a lot of friction and a lot of clunky UI. So that was our initial focus. And then longer term, we're looking to bring on governments to do sort of planning applications and construction and things like that. So that will be, and the only way of doing that will be mass market, bringing on millions of users. But you need to start small and then build it up over time.
Yeah, improve the user experience so that users don't feel like they're using a Web3 product.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. How about you, Techman?
I think user experience has to be the top priority as well. So, for example, let's say we use Telegram. Everybody uses Telegram. If there was a new platform tomorrow and they said, "Oh, we want to do the same things that Telegram's doing, and we're gonna do a little bit better," I think users will not probably go with that because everybody's so used to it. Unless it was something like really attractive for a new user. For example, Excavate. They're like tokenizing property. Anybody can invest. That's quite a sexy narrative that that can attract users. Like, for example, I was talking to somebody and they're like, "Oh, so parents can basically buy a small share of their, a property and for their children and just leave it for 18 years or 20 years or something." That's quite a good narrative. So that kind of attracts a new user into it. Like Kylix, for example, we're building like a collateral marketplace, liquidity. I understand that's a little bit tech side, it's difficult, but especially for Web2 users, it has to be something very kind of attractive, very easy to understand, where they don't have to go through hoops and hoops to understand how to use a protocol or a platform. They can just come on board and obviously go through a little bit of understanding, and then it should be straightforward. I think we in Polkadot specifically, we always talk about the tech side, the jam, and the interoperability and all these kind of things, which is great. I mean, for a person like you and me, it's amazing. I mean, we understand the technology and we really like it and we feel bullish about it. But for somebody who doesn't understand blockchain or doesn't know Polkadot, it just goes right over their heads. They have no idea what this is. So that's where I think we're struggling a little bit overall, not just Polkadot, but like overall ecosystem, that Web3 communities getting recycled over and over again from one project to another, one ecosystem to another, and there's not enough users coming in. This is another one, like, for example, Mandala Chain, they're working with the government and, they're bringing a new Web2 community. So something like that would be great, like where you're actually bringing in more communities into Polkadot ecosystem, like Excavate as well. For example, you're bringing in a community of investors from Web2 into Web3 without them knowing that they're going into Web3. They're just basically buying a share of the property. So I think my main focus would be to have user experience so simple and so easy, where people can just easily come on board and not have to worry about understanding the technology.
Yeah, bring more Web2 users on board.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Philip, could you share, how does Polkadot, attract new users or attract new developers, especially, JAM is going to launch soon. Your microphone.
Users or developers? Both.
I think for Polkadot protocols, it's more about developers.
Or maybe both.
Yes.
Let's talk about both.
Yeah, but I mean, the developer side now. I mean, Polkadot right now. I think I mean, there is the academy, and new developer are like formed, and then they go and work for different entities. For example, the foundation. There are like people coming from the academy. And then we teach about Rust and the Polkadot SDK, so how to launch your rollup and these kind of things, right? I think this will change a little bit. I mean, it will be expanded a little bit with JAM, since JAM will be essentially how to say, like will not be based. It will be based basically on PVM, which is this new Polkadot virtual machine. So I think there will be more core developers. I mean, really core developers working on the JAM protocol. There will still be the rollups, and this we still need developers, Rust developers, Polkadot SDK developers. So it's also I really think that the number of developers is also driven by, of course, the success of the protocol with the retail and also the adoption, because as there is more retail coming in, as there are more industries using the technology, there is more need of developers, right? There is more need of expertise and people that know how to maintain, and how to develop solutions. Yeah, I think, I mean, it's like the Polkadot, how we can attract new users. It mostly depends on, I think there is a macroeconomic component. Currently, you said, crypto and cryptocurrency, blockchain technology is experiencing kind of like a strange period. I think this might impact a little bit the general public, how how people perceive the current the crypto space. I wouldn't say that we are in a positive moment, so it might be more difficult. So there is this kind of macro component, and then of course you have the specific project, how it tackles interaction, like how easy it is to interact with the ecosystem. And I think Polkadot has been done really great job in the past 4 years in developing mobile wallets that are very good. I think it has been done a lot since I joined the ecosystem, and I would say that the UI and the UX on the mobile wallets for Polkadot is really good. I really encourage people to download Sub Wallet, to download a Nova Wallet on their phones and to try it out. You can even you don't need even a seed phrase. You can actually create a wallet from a iCloud backup. It's not optimal. It's not super safe in this whole context of this X space, but it's convenient, of course, because I think it's not Web3 is not here to replace Web2. It will be like a coexistence of the two, and of course the masses, most of the people need easy interaction, easy to use stuff, and I think it's a very gradual change. And I really welcome this solution where you basically create your wallet with a cloud backup, for example, right? And you don't need too much of a process, of a laborious process to set up your wallet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I think the entire market is tough right now, and Polkadot has been continuously making progress, and the user-friendliness is getting better and better, and I think we are on the way to attract more users. So, okay, thank you for this topic. And next, which is very important, is that I want to invite Filippo to share this to our audience, which is 21st Shares has filed an S1 for a Polkadot ETF, suggesting that a ETF may be on the horizon. So could you explain to our audience how long it typically takes for an ETF to be officially approved after this step?
Okay, so here I will not be able to speak too much. I'm not an expert. I'm not, probably someone at the legal team would have been better and more competent than me in doing these things. I don't want to say something wrong, but citing the fact, Bitcoin ETF, I think it took 10 years from the first submission until now. Of course, it was the first. It doesn't mean that now every 10 years, but it takes some time, because these things need to be audited, and then there are corrections. They need to be resubmitted. It's a process that can take some time. I don't know how long, but it's like when you write. Maybe in the audience there is someone in the scientific world. When you write a peer-reviewed paper, it takes time to get published, because you have to submit, and then there are reviewers, and then you have corrections, and it takes time.
Yeah, it makes sense, and
it's not. I know it's not what you hoped to hear from me, but this is, I think, what I can say.
No, that's a good answer, because there's a lot of legal complications as well. We don't want to say anything that could potentially jeopardize, anything that's been going on. So we can just hope and see it goes really well, and fingers crossed.
I think it's important to sort of say that it's a good sign, one, about the industry in general, but two, about the Polkadot as an ecosystem, is for any organization to go through the process of creating an ETF, it's not like a 5-minute process. It costs a lot of money, it takes a lot of time, so there's a lot of commitment there. So the organization that's doing it, they wouldn't be doing it unless they had really good faith in the ecosystem, in the tooling, in the community. So it's a lot of good positive news, and whether it comes in 6 months or a year, I don't really think it matters. It's just, again, it's the travel. We're moving in the right direction. We're getting more adoption with bigger projects like Mythical Games, and there's a lot of government projects that are happening under the hood, because they can't be announced until they're fully signed off and completed. But all of this stuff is really positive for the ecosystem.
Okay, cool. And just finger crossed. Okay, I think to wrap up our conversation, I would invite Richard and Pacman to share, the major plans ahead for your project. Let's start from Richard.
Oh, well, so I've mentioned the regulatory stuff. So in terms of sort of launching live, we should be live around about sort of end of May, beginning of June. So we're just in the throes of finishing off the mobile application, the marketplace, which will bring real estate developers together with investors. We're doing a crowdfunding round on Polymech in a few weeks' time. So if you're interested in the project, please join X or Telegram. And we're just, at the moment, I'm spending a lot of time doing events with universities, and we're working with University of East London to do a lot of research on how the current state of play works in the UK, and then roll that out internationally in terms of the life cycle of real estate, so we can confidently streamline the whole process and make it a lot easier and simpler for governments and institutions to get involved in tokenizing of real estate.
Okay, cool. Very looking forward to it. And so, Pacman, how about you?
Yeah, first of all, I want to congratulate Richard on the success of their project as well. What they're doing in Polkadot ecosystem is amazing. Like having the real estate on chain, and a tokenized version of it that you can actually buy a portion of it rather than having it. I think that will be a very sexy narrative going forward in a few weeks, few months time after the launch, because even though they're starting in the UK, anybody from anywhere in the world can buy property in London, which is amazing. I mean, blockchain makes that happen. Polkadot makes it happen, which is very good. So I quite like that project. And for our side, we're basically building a DeFi protocol. So it's not just a standard lending and borrowing protocol. We actually have a lot of cool features, for example, self-repaying loans, and then we have collateral marketplace. I mean, typically on a DeFi protocol, collateral is liquidated automatically using bots, but for our protocol, we'll have a marketplace for collateral. So if any collateral is about to be liquidated, users will actually have the opportunity to buy it below the market price. And then that kind of makes it a little bit more attractive. And then we're also a multi-chain bridgeless DeFi protocol, which is another great thing. For example, you can lend a token on Ethereum network, and without having to use a bridge or any kind of on-chain interaction, you can just go onto Solana and Sui or Polkadot, and you can lend or borrow vice versa, which is quite good. So basically, there's no bridges at all, which bridges can be quite complicated, especially in Ethereum, and can be quite expensive as well. It takes quite a long time. So we're quite excited to build that. I think we're probably going to be live in April or May time, depends on the audit and everything. And just like Richard, we're quite busy at the moment. It's more than, especially when you're in a co-founder position, you're not just like a moderator, or you don't just have to write content or something. You have to basically do everything. And that doesn't just involve, like, for example, marketing. You have to keep on top of developers. You have to make sure you're talking to the right exchanges, even if it's market makers, for example, and partners and everything. So basically, you're working 24/7. You don't have a social life. You're basically married to your work. So so that's the kind of life I'm living at the moment. But yeah, I think in the end, it's going to be quite a good result.
Okay, cool. And we're also looking forward to the launch of Calyx.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all for your time and insightful sharing. I hope everyone of our audience can develop a good operational habits and take responsibility for their assets. And feel free to follow our guests to stay updated on the latest developments of their project. And we will continue inviting them in the future to our broadcast. And so stay tuned. That's all for today. See you next time. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you. Good luck. Good luck. And thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Mm.